was your first musical memory, and how old were you when you remember?
Well, I started taking piano lessons at the age of 6 from a classically trained teacher, and I took lessons until I was 12 years old. So I learned music theory, and I wasn't a very good pianist, but I did do a few recitals where I had to play a song that I had memorized.
Did you have any music you were listening to at that time?
Not at the age of 6 that I recall. I recall listening to music when I was approaching my teenage years. And
what music was that?
well, the Beatles landed in America either in 62 or 63, Ed Sullivan Show, and I was 12 or 13 years old. And it was about that time that I was kind of fed up with classical music and beginning to enjoy rock and roll and pop. So I gave up the piano. I tried the guitar a little bit, didn't really take to it very well. Played the drums in junior high school and played the trumpet, I think 8th grade and into 9th grade. And I played the trumpet pretty well. But I quit that because I didn't like marching in the band. And that was really the last time that I was involved in music until I bought a piano at the age of 57.
Okay. Paul McCartney quit trumpet because he couldn't sing while he was playing it. When did you first realize you could sing?
Well, I sing in the car years and years and years, and enjoyed that. And even when people were in the car, I would sing. And nobody told me to stop singing, so I kept singing. I enjoyed singing to Neil Diamond and to the Beatles and to the Stones and all of that. So,
did you ever have a vocal performance before you picked up piano again in your later years?
I did not. I never did sing in public until I joined the Mulligans in 2016, I think it was.
Okay, and that got you back into piano as well, right?
Well, I started playing piano in 1997. No, that was 57. 2007. So I built a house in 2006, and I wanted a piano that played itself in the main room. So I went to the piano store, and I picked out a Yamaha disc clavier, and it played itself, player piano. My parents had an old one. You'd pump the pedals, and the music would play. In any event, when I went in to buy that piano, the salesman said, "Your first lesson is Friday at 3 o'clock." I said, "Oh, I haven't played the piano for 45 years. I don't think so." And he goes, "No, you'll have fun. Try it. You might remember quite a bit." So I took a lesson on Friday at 3 o'clock and kind of enjoyed it. I did have a little bit of talent still, and then he hooked me up with a great piano teacher in Fresno, Jolene Braun, and I took lessons from her for quite a few years and started to jam a little bit with members of Betty's family. They were all musicians, and I played the guitar and the keys with them and started singing a little bit, but it really wasn't until I bought a vacation home in Pebble Beach in 2015 that I joined the Mulligans. Bill Self invited me to do that. I didn't know what I was doing, so I had to start taking lessons from David Conley, who's here asking me questions today.
What kind of music did you do when you first started going back to piano in the early 2000s?
Jolene taught lead sheet, which is the melody line, and then above the melody line, the indicated chords, which would allow you to play the left hand bass part. And so you learn fast with lead sheet instead of having to study grand staff, I think it's called, both the treble and the bass clef. With lead sheet, you could see the melody notes and see the chords that would be underneath that. And so you could play the melody and you could play the chords, or you could sing the melody and play the chords. And I learned a lot of songs in a very short period of time, and it was fun. And I wanted to continue, which I did, thankfully.
Did those melodies that you played inspire you when it comes to your songwriting?
Well, I think it's fair to say that I decided to take piano lessons once again so that I could eventually play, accompany myself, and sing. Because I've always kind of felt that I was more a singer than any other kind of musician. I've never felt like I was a natural musician that could play by ear. I had to make music kind of like painting by numbers. Still have to do that. I have to think quite a bit when I play. It doesn't come naturally. But singing does come naturally to me, like most people probably. And I can carry a bit of a tune. I'm not Pavarotti, but I have fun playing and singing, and I really started writing songs after an experience that David and I both had in a recording studio doing the cover of Neil Diamond's Solitary Man, and that was the fall of 2019.
So the Melodies is a cover band and pretty faithful on his covers, but when we did Solitary Man in the studio, we weren't being faithful to the original. We were kind of doing a country version of the song, and that's where you hooked up with Mike Lent. Now, when he said, you need to do original material if we're going to pursue an album project, did that feel daunting to you, or were you excited? How did it feel to know that you were going to switch gears and go into all original material?
No, when Mike Lent suggested that I write my own material, I didn't feel daunted. I was excited. I thought I could do it. And when I started to do it, it came fairly easy. I'm an English lit major, studied Shakespeare, went to law school. I've been reading and writing a lot. So the lyrics came relatively easy to me. Having listened to the Beatles for so many years, most of my songs are love songs. But the lyric part of the equation was fairly easy for me. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. I understood the balance needed, the pacing, the rhyme schemes, all of that from my English lit background, I suppose. And it was a matter of finding a melody and supporting that melody with the chords underneath it. And the melody part is the hardest part. Finding your range for singing and developing interesting melodies and choruses. But I've had a lot of help in doing that, a lot of instruction, a lot of advice, a lot of counsel. And we've been able to write quite a few songs, and I've enjoyed most of them.
What's your favorite genre to write in?
Well, everybody tells me that I sound like Willie Nelson, and others have said Jimmy Buffett, and I like country. When I married and had children, rock and roll took a back seat. Literally, the kids were in the back seat, and I started listening to country because it was a little more pleasing to everybody. I'm a big fan of Willie Nelson's. One Christmas Eve, I heard Willie Nelson's Stardust album at a Christmas Eve party at the Neelys in Delray, and I was just blown away by Willie's interpretation of all of those great old songs. I thought, wow, that's a great singer, and that'd be fun to do.
Well, he was doing songs out of the Great American Songbook, but he's also well known as a great country writer. Do you have any favorite Willie Nelson songs or favorite country songs that you would like to aspire to, if you could write one as good as that?
Well, it's a blend of Willie's American Songbook songs and of course his straight country. Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, On the Road Again. But I also like All of You, or All of Me. All of Me. Why not take all of me? And songs like that. So it's a combination. And then, of course, I'm a big Neil Diamond fan. I think Neil Diamond has a great voice, and he's a great songwriter. And I aspire to write songs like him. I'm a big Barry Manilow fan, always have been. It's rather coincidental that I happened to meet Barry's longtime guitarist, Michael Lent, and have him be interested in producing and arranging the songs that I've been writing. Very fortuitous, but I love Barry's music. He writes a great melody.
Now, music is a hobby for most people that are doing what you do, and I think you're included in that. But have you ever considered doing it as something that you would do full time and sort of get away from all the things you've done in the past and just do music?
No, I can't just do music, and I can't just do golf, and I can't just do the work that I do to make a living. I like to have many things to do. I've always said I'm a jack of all trades and master of none, and that's still true today. I'm a little bit of a songwriter, a little bit of a golfer, a little bit of a real estate developer. I don't feel I'm an expert in any of those things, but I do well enough. And Bill Self always says I'm an 11 handicap on the golf course, and I'm an 11 handicap when I play the guitar. And that's kind of how I feel too. I'm not so sure I'm that good as an 11 on the keyboard or singing, but I am better than 11 on the golf course, I think.
Well, one of the things that happened since you've been recording is you've been playing with crack musicians, just the best of the bunch, locally as well as Las Vegas. And would you say that experience has inspired you to play live more often?
Well, after we recorded and released 20 songs, I suggested to Mike that we have to play these songs live, and he said that he would help me with that. He helps me with just about anything that I ask of him. He's very generous with his time and talent, and so he said, "Let me be the musical director. I'll put the band together. We'll get them the charts. They'll learn the music. We'll rehearse, and we'll go play." And so I set up a date at my club, the club has a nice room, and we rehearsed, and we advertised the gig, and we went and we did 10 songs out of the 20 last fall, and then this early spring we did 14 of the 20 that we had previously recorded and released, and we've recorded album 3. It's in mixing and mastering now. It'll be out soon, and we're going to go to work this fall on album 4.
Sounds good. One more question for you. Does the future hold more concerts, and does the future hold more albums? It's a double question.
Yeah, the future definitely holds more albums. As long as Mike is willing to arrange and produce, and the musicians that help us are willing to participate and create, I think more albums are in the future. I enjoy writing. I was writing earlier today. I was inspired to write a bit about a particular topic, so I started writing, and once you write it down, the lyrics anyway, it's a matter of putting it to song. And as I was advised by David, who's here with me again today, just start reading what you'd written. Read it over and over again. Keep reading it. Just read it, and eventually the melody will come to you. And that's kind of how I operate. I write them down, and I start reading them, and hopefully a nice melody will come.